Roll call.
Parker? Here. Miscelinich?
Here.
Bergen?
Here.
Zittergrun? Here. Chisel?
Here.
Whittle?
Here.
Neal?
Here.
All right, item number 3, Decorah Area Chamber of Commerce Annual Report. Jessica Rilling's going to give us a little report.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for having me on the agenda tonight. Wanted to come and say on behalf of Chamber Board and staff, welcome to our new mayor, Andy Carlson, a new council member, Johanna Bergen, and thank you to Cody Whittle, who's been appointed to serve as the liaison to the city on the Chamber's Board of Directors. Look forward to working with all of you, city staff, city council members this year. Thank you for your time, support, and collaboration. Wanted to give you a hard copy of the Chamber's membership packet for the year. Included in that is a list of services for the Chamber member businesses, as well as activities we have for 2026, and some highlights from 2025. Always like to remind the council at the beginning of the year that the Decorah Area Chamber is a private nonprofit organization that's served area businesses and community for more than 100 years. We have 2.5 FTE, or full-time equivalent employees. There are 15 individuals that serve on our board of directors. That includes the appointed liaison, and about 60 dedicated volunteers who serve on chamber committees, and that would include our perhaps most visible committee, the Chamber Ambassadors. The chamber has 286 business members in the Decorah area, and I wanted to share that our business memberships and the fundraisers we host constitute just over about 70% of our organization's annual income. Last year we hosted 38 chamber-led events and supported another 40 events. And in just the last year, just 2025, hosted 32 business ribbon cuttings to welcome new business and celebrate milestones. In the packet you have, there's more about our membership sector breakout. So that's one we haven't done a graph for that lately, and it's an interesting one to look at. It also includes our work plan goals for the year and the full event calendar for the chamber-led events. The chamber's pleased to host the Visitor Center at 507 West Water. If you haven't been or haven't been in a while, we welcome you to come in and say hello, and we can show you around that space and talk to you about what the visitors experience when they come in and talk with us. Our walk-in traffic is about 10,000 annually, and that wouldn't include like phone calls that we field through the Visitor Center office. We're pleased to offer professional development and technical assistance to area businesses, plan and implement events that serve our area professionals and directly impact quality of life. And also happy to provide a stable base of support and administrative services for quite a few of our area nonprofits that have talented and hardworking volunteers, but no staff of their own. On your staple to the front of the packet were just some things I thought I would call attention to at the start of 2026 here. The Chamber will host a few small focus groups with business owners. We're still in discussions about when and what the content of those may be, but if that's something interesting to you, let me know or let Cody know. Those are unique opportunities to hear directly from the business owners about a variety of topics. We host a class series we call Empowered Decorah for area professionals. A lot of the folks that choose to take part in that series are new in their job, perhaps also new residents, and usually ahead of the class that includes information about the city. I like to reach out and see if there's some level of involvement or information that council would like to share to that group. You have had, Carrie participated in that a couple years back, and sometimes our place-based issue that we focus on involves the city quite a bit, and so we've done panels too where members have come in to speak on those issues. I tried to call attention to 4 chamber-led events. You're welcome at many. These were 4 I thought you might be particularly interested in, and they happen outside of regular business hours. A couple networking coffee hours, our largest evening event, and the business awards in the fall. Thank you for all you're doing. Please feel welcome to chat with me or chamber staff if you have things you'd like to learn more about, or like in the case of the focus groups, things you would enjoy learning more about, and the chamber may be able to help facilitate that conversation. So happy to take any questions. Otherwise, just wanted to say thank you and happy 2026.
Thanks for all that you do.
Yes, thank you, Jess.
You do a tremendous amount for Decorah, so thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, item number 4, public comment. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council as a whole on any matter, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and address. You'll have up to 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Brandt, and I live on Highland Drive in Decorah. I'm here tonight to express my strong support for the proposed Pavilion Market Plaza, which Jim and Liz Fritz presented to you at the February 16th meeting, and which you have on agenda to discuss tonight. I care deeply about the role that arts play in shaping a vibrant and connected community. I grew up in Decorah, participated in all of the performing arts opportunities we had through our school district, speech, choir, band, and I was heavily involved in community theater, received my degree in theater from Luther College, now serving on the board of directors with New Minoa Players, and currently singing with Decorah Chorale. In all areas, I've witnessed how performing arts can bring people of all ages together, not just as audiences, but as participants, as volunteers, and supporters. The arts foster creativity, they foster confidence and connection in ways that few other community activities can. A performance pavilion, as proposed, would create a flexible, visible gathering space for concerts, for theater, festivals, poetry readings, and unique community moments. It would expand access to the arts. It would provide more opportunities for collaboration amongst local groups. It would provide a beautiful and unique venue that is in deep demand for the growing need that we see for accessible performance spaces. It would energize our downtown with activity and benefits that residents and local businesses would see. The Pavilion Market Plaza is more to me than just a construction project. It's a vision of intersectional community space that continues our incredible legacy and values that are rooted in performance and music. So I definitely want to throw a shout out to Jim and Liz for this vision, and then want to ask you as our city council to help make this happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Is there anyone else? Tim?
Good evening. Tim Wagner, 505 Franklin Street here in Decorah. Like Sarah, I just too wanted to voice my support for this pavilion project. I didn't prepare any real remarks for this. I don't think I need to. I've been in this community for 10 years and have known and been good friends with Jim and Liz all those years. These folks are doers. They make community things happen. And this is certainly a good example of that. I think, like Sarah said, we desperately need something for outdoors for the arts in this community. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're very fortunate. This community has so much going on in the arts, in all aspects of it. But to have a nice outdoor facility, I think, would really speak well to the community, certainly the downtown business community. In just the long term, I realize and understand and respect the budget constraints that we're all dealing with these days, but I think this in the long run would really pay for itself in so many ways. So anyway, that's all I need to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Ms. Cantine? Hi.
I'm Susan Cantine, and I'm a retired speech and drama teacher from Decorah High School. I had the privilege to teach 2 of the people who are on the council right now. And I would just like to reiterate everything that Sarah and Tim said. I'm not going to repeat all of those things, but I encourage you to think about the future of Decorah and what this could bring to our community. If you can envision a family bringing their lawn chairs, spreading out a blanket, having a picnic lunch, listening to a band concert, or let the kids play over on the side while they're watching a performance from New Minidoka Players or the high school, or maybe just a musicians group. This could be an incredible asset to our community. I moved away from Decorah 20 years ago, and I just recently moved back, primarily because I have lots of friends here. I've taught 2/3 of the town, and also because of its vibrant advocacy for the arts and for supporting community. I hope that you will take action and that I encourage you all to accept this proposal. I've worked with Jim and Liz for 25 plus years, and I know when they say something can be done, it will be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on. Close public comment and move on to number 5, city manager, department head, and council reports.
All right, 2 things for me. One, on Wednesday, I will be in Des Moines for Local Leaders Day, which is the Iowa League of Cities annual day at the Capitol building. I am scheduled to meet with Senate leadership, actually in the afternoon, and so as a representative of the Iowa League of Cities, so looking forward to that. Other thing I want to point out, it's in the consent agenda with the preliminary official statement, but I want to make sure the public understands that the bond rating, as part of that preliminary official statement of the city of Decorah, Carrie and myself participated in a rating call. Carrie had to provide all kinds of documentation on policies that we have in place, different reports that we maintain internally, as well as our fund balances. Another huge consideration of the bond rating process. We received a AA- bond rating, which is actually the 4th highest bond rating a municipality can achieve, and it's actually the highest one can expect to achieve outside a major metropolitan area. So we will have a formal press release coming out more on that, but what that means is substantial cost savings to the taxpayer as it relates to interest rates. So I want to make sure that's pointed out. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you so much to the both of you on that.
Yeah, it's huge. Any department heads have anything to share this evening? See a lot of heads shaking, no? Okay. Any council members who wish to share this evening?
I just want to extend a shout out to the street crew for the last snowfall that we got. I love winter and I love when it snows, but I am thinking about how much work went into clearing it all out, and I'm just grateful for the work that was done and for everybody that's doing it. So thank you.
I've got one. This weekend, starting Thursday and running through Sunday, is the Oneota Film Festival in town here. It's a volunteer-run, mostly terrific event that brings a lot of people to our community. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't participated in it or gone to it, and you're someone who might like to watch a film that's different, unique, interesting, they're almost always wonderful. And when they're not, they're almost always short. And I will say that the festival is free, and you don't need to pre-register, although they appreciate it if you sign in when you come. Festival headquarters, I think, is in the lobby of the Hotel Winneshiek, and it's a great event. So if you don't have something going on this weekend, head downtown, find a film to watch.
Anyone else?
I might point out for the shout out to the street crew with the large snowfall that we had. That weekend and that snowfall alone, we talk about fund balances and the importance to maintain those for maybe unexpected, even though one can expect a pretty major snowfall in Iowa. But that event cost the city of Decorah in direct expenses about $24,000 to clean up after that snow event. Wow. So those are direct costs.
Thanks,
Not
Travis.
cheap.
Snow used to be cheaper back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
I got had a question, actually, that a constituent asked me about that. Do we pre-spray places?
You mean
for the
like
storm
pre,
shelter? Like, do we
pre-apply
pre-treat?
brine?
Do we have a spray?
A couple years ago, we used to.
Okay.
This current winter, we have not.
Okay. Thank you. I just, a constituent asked me that, and I really didn't know, and thought I should ask. Thank you.
Thanks for everyone shouting out things that were on my list. Just add in that Luther College's Giving Day is March 5th. This Thursday, there's fun events on campus at the landing market. And there's a lot of ways small dollars go a long way for their pledge match.
Any other council members wish to share? I'll just share what I've been up to. I had a county assessor meeting. That went well. Looking at a new county assessor. We had a field trip to City Hall for our 5th and 7th hour government students. So Travis and city staff, I'd like to thank you for accommodating us, as well as the police department and the fire department for giving everyone a tour. I think all the kids enjoyed that. I want to thank Cody for his listening session that he had. Emily, myself, and Cody participated in the listening session with members of DCIR and Ian, and I thought that went well, and hopefully we can get together again and do some more listening. Thought it was productive. I want to thank the Black Student Union for having their Cultural Connection event at the landing. I had jerk chicken and fried rice, which was a shock to my bland Norwegian palate, but very delicious nonetheless. So thank you to them. Went to the WindMed open house for the new Da Vinci robot. That's a huge asset to the community. I think that's going to serve us well. Not cheap, but it's going to be life-saving and hopefully a huge asset to the community. That's kind of what I've been up to. So moving forward, we'll hit number 6, the consent agenda.
Item A, minutes of the February 16th, 2026 council meeting. B, minutes of the February 23rd, 2026 work session. C, claims. D, tax abatement for 302 Sunrise Boulevard, Justin Kupka, new construction. E, renewal of special class C retail alcohol license with outdoor services, Vesterheim Museum. F, alcohol ownership amendments for class E retail alcohol license, Walmart. And G, consider resolution authorizing use of a preliminary official statement for the sale of general obligation corporate bonds, Series 2026A. H, resolution setting public hearing on the lease of city property to Northeast Iowa Montessori School. And I, change order number 2 for the Decorah wastewater treatment plant improvement project.
I'd move for the consent agenda as presented.
I'd second.
Okay, motion by Chisel, seconded by Masilnich. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Chisel. Aye. Miscelinich.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Zittergruen.
Aye.
Whittle.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Consent agenda passes unanimously. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on Day Spring Lane Performance Pavilion proposal.
Okay, so this is on the agenda again. The city council heard presentation for Jim and Liz Fritz during the February 16th meeting about the construction performance pavilion green space in the north alley east of River Street between Day Spring Lane and Hively Street. During that discussion, establishing timeline for the project was proposed and requested for this meeting or the next. I was able to get one done. It's now in front of you all. I do have copies out to Jim and Liz and a few extra over here if anybody wants one. Let's see. Additionally, change from the initial presentation was sent to council and staff that the city is not able to sell electricity via power purchase agreement or PPA is commonly referred to, resulting in the elimination of proposed revenues to offset maintenance costs. Other options were proposed, including potential to install solar and reduce costs to City Hall operations by placing conduit from the site to behind the electrical meter at City Hall. Also, in addition to this, I want to note, we ran into this at the airport with the terminal hangar project up there. There's only one side of the roof that has solar because my understanding is building code actually prohibits roof mount solar arrays to feed anything other than what it's sitting on. So also keep that in mind as well. Possible action would allow a vote if no consensus is reached and formal action is needed to provide staff direction during this. So I did hand out some timelines because there's a couple of questions that have come up, even if it's just one thing to clarify. I was operating under the assumption, I think we all were, that the city would own and operate this structure at the end of that time. Another option that could be considered is if it is going to be done through a 501c3 with the fundraising, the city could also entertain a long-term lease agreement for the property to the 501c3 for them to own and operate. Because in addition, the operate side is what we also have to have a good consensus on as well, is how is this facility going to operate moving forward? Is it going to be a first come, first served type basis? Or is it going to be the city maintains a schedule and it's you come to us, you reserve the space, kind of like a Wayland cabin type situation? Or is the expectation that the city is going to try and solicit performances there? Just other things we need to take into consideration. But getting to the timeline that I've established, that I have drafted here, and please, this is my draft essentially of a timeline. There are certainly things that might come up along the way we need to figure out, or maybe you see something that needs to be addressed as well. So initially, from March to June of 2026, what I've got is the private lead responsibilities would be refine the preferred project option. So those options in that email of 1 through 4, if the council were to say, this is the option we want to proceed with, that's our indication to the private lead on, okay, this is how we want to move forward on the project. Confirm that solar strategy of either behind the meter, phased, or pavilion only. Make sure we can move forward with that installation. And then engage an architect for schematic design. Commission updated cost estimates. We do have some preliminary cost estimates on the pavilion and site work. I will note that staff does believe that those the site work ones specifically, there's a couple of things that have been left out of consideration that are going to drive those costs up. For example, the EV chargers that are currently down there, those are going to have to be relocated. That's about $15,000 cost we estimate, as well as where the solar canopies go in the underground, any trenching of utilities and stuff, we have to put that asphalt back. And so that, we believe those numbers are going to drive up the cost a little bit more. So those need to be refined a bit further. Let's see, engage energy council is needed, which the private lead has already been talking with 2 individuals on that. I have as a question mark on here of community listening sessions. I know that's been something in the past where if it's something you want public feedback, it's just as a question might be to put forward. And then develop that model for usage of that performance pavilion and green space. So at the end of the day, how do we expect this to operate? And then confirm partnership with partnership structure as a 501c3 created, or are we going to go through the community foundation? During that initial phase, what I envision the city's supporting role being would be providing feedback essentially on the site itself, utility access, feasibility, making sure we're maintaining the parking impacts for Woolen Mill. Those are established by easement, so we need to make sure those are maintained. And that solar interconnection pathway if we say we want to come behind the meter to City Hall here. We'd also make sure that if it's going to be operated as a 501c3, we would develop those different lease agreements. Or if it's going to be built and then conveyed to the city, then potentially a development agreement. And let's see. And then just making sure in general that the project aligns with that broader downtown Hively connection. So first checkpoint I have as April and May, possibly late April work session or May council meetings. where we would have an actionable MOU that would confirm the project may proceed to formal design fundraising, as well as create that operational structure. What is the expectation for maintenance, scheduling, who's maintaining the property? Do we, if it's a 501c3, they're gonna have to have insurance on it, or is it ours? So that's kind of the first phase. Thoughts on that?
I have a couple questions.
Fire away.
Okay, so my understanding, and this is a couple years ago, that you can't bring solar unless it's adjacent to your property. Can
Good
you-
news is we own everything between there and here. That's
Okay.
what I'm leaning on.
So you'd have to go through the street infrastructure, like, because we wouldn't we'd cross
Correct.
the school. Okay, so we can go through the street infrastructure.
My,
We would need to confirm
Right,
as
okay.
part of phase one.
in my 4 minutes of education received prior to this meeting, that is likely possible. However, we should know that there are significant steps, including like our own electrical code probably has some things to say about this that we would have to navigate. Not impossible, and also steps.
Right, it also would require a partnership with the Lion. I mean, they would have to approve this unless all of it goes behind our meter?
If it's all behind our meter, then it should just be a simple interconnection permit. I say that, but they have changed the permitting rules since the last time we've been through it.
Right.
My understanding is it's now substantially higher cost. I think it's like $2,000 to apply, and then the lead time on it's a lot longer as well.
Okay, I just know that for our second solar rant, there was some Alliant needs that dragged it on, and we needed to make sure that, and that was behind the meter, so that was my only thought there. And has there been any conversations, I mean, is the school interested in doing the solar for their elementary school? And is that something that should be thought of, like, if,
Jim and Liz are here this evening if they'd like to
yeah.
answer questions maybe, or not.
That's up to you. It's your meeting.
I would totally ask
Would
them
you
when I
guys be
feel like-
comfortable? Would you guys be comfortable answering questions this evening? To the best of our ability. Okay, fair enough.
And
We'll just mount cameras up here for you guys.
A desk back here for me.
Oh, no, that's,
Without an MEU,
right.
I don't believe you can sell to the school. I don't believe you can sell to a third party.
No, that I know. I'm just wondering, does the school have any interest in putting up the solar at their cost and then using it for their school?
Only if it's on their land.
Okay.
We could potentially do a land lease to the school for that.
But I believe it has to be their land that it's on. And also, I believe it has to be, it also has to be adjacent parcels. Or, I don't exactly know how that is all done, but something about being the same parcel.
Right, and that's why it would be adjacent to theirs if we leased it.
Yes.
Because,
And we do have legal counsel, so I mean, if there are some certain hard questions we need, rather than me answering them, we can go to legal counsel, and this is what he's spent his entire career doing. And he's done many PPAs around Decorah and Minnesota, Iowa, so he would know the answers.
I'm interested in whether or not the school would do it, because one of the things that I'd like to see that elementary school have is more green infrastructure. And I feel like if we're gonna build a new fire station, if that happens for us, we might be able to put our own solar in our own project. And so, to me, it would be win-win for Decorah if we could not only get solar on the elementary school, but then also on city infrastructure in our own remodeling.
The school has been approached.
Okay.
yes, and I think many of us know that. Emily, what intrigues me, and my thought is that there are some additional steps that I'd love to see in phase one, which mostly are about engaging partners. I think one thing we've been discussing since our strategic planning session just before Christmas is that one of the things our city can do is leverage partnership, convening, bring people together around opportunities, especially when we don't have a lot of cash, right, to contribute to things. So, Emily, I'm hearing you say there might be a chance to revisit with the school less about their interest in creating the musical pavilion and more about sharing infrastructure and energy resources. And I think that's worth a phone call, right? Yeah.
There are other partners available too in the city.
That was gonna be my next question, was the co-op as a
The co-op.
partner in the solar.
And they have been approached as well.
Okay, because I
And
know.
they're intrigued.
What?
They're intrigued.
Yeah, and I think that they have capacity from a need for more solar.
Yes.
And it is adjacent to them as well.
And what they have right now, according to their GM, is a drop in the bucket. And
Exactly.
they wish they had a lot more.
Yeah,
And they have really high energy needs.
they do.
But it would require a lot of nuance with Alliant.
Right, and I think part of that nuance we could help facilitate if we were leasing or
So
what
I,
we would need to do to the land.
I do want to throw this out there, not to sound like I'm, for the sake of, this is not meant to be like a jab at the school or anything like that, but I would much prefer infrastructure-wise for it to go towards the co-op and not have to extend to the elementary school under Hively Street, crossing other utilities along the way, just for the sake of infrastructure. I'd rather see it go to the south. That's a much easier connection.
I think that the question, Jim, maybe for your group is the same no matter the party, which is to legal counsel, is if the land is leased, can that power go to the entity that's leasing it from us?
And that, we've had that conversation, but not with enough detail.
Okay.
And so I would like to meet with one or two of you to get real specific what your request is before I just throw something out and not know exactly what you're interested in.
And I do think Luther leased to Dragonfly Solar for the first solar array, then bought back power from Dragonfly Solar. So there's model in Decorah of it.
Well, and I think the wind charger is also on leased land.
Yep.
But that was, what, 20 years, or almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah, it is on leased land too. So,
Another point to consider, we talk about land lease and the city's inability to do a PPA and how we're gonna structure this if it's a 501c3 that's collecting the I know that's what you had brought up at the last presentation. Maybe the 501c3 actually holds the land lease of the entire thing with the city, and then you can do a PPA.
that was my idea.
As a 501c3, I don't know if you would be prohibited from doing a PPA.
I don't know the answer to that question. And maybe John, you can help on this as well. I don't know.
I tried to sidebar with him before it.
I realize this is a very kind of a niche part of law.
Yeah, I don't know all the details about the solar rules and laws, but you have an LLC, and I don't know if there would be a benefit to the LLC having the lease with the city, because the LLC could turn around and have the PPE, and I don't know if there would be any tax credits with doing that. Or, because you get two different things, an LLC, and we talked about a 501c3, which is a separate type of entity. And whichever one wants to lease it from the city, I think the city could, it doesn't matter. I think it might matter to you, possibly, whether it's the LLC or a 501c3. And then that gets to what Travis was talking about before, about who actually runs the pavilion, whether that would be the same entity, or to make it more complicated, you could have the city lease the ground to, say, the LLC, and then the LLC is allowed to have a sublease with a 501c3 for the pavilion or something. But
And
there's options there.
I think you do want an LLC. I mean, this is just from my work at Luther. You want the LLC because you want to be able to sell the tax credits. And an LLC can operate as a purchase power per lease, but a 501(c)(3) probably cannot. Or there would be different limitations on them. Because that's why Luther could never operate as one ourselves.
Well, and you have experience with the church, and it's not the church that owns your.
No, our LLC owns it.
Yeah,
And it's a short-term PPA, you know, but LLC owns it through the length of the PPA.
Okay.
Jim Martin Schramm knows more about this than any human being I've ever met.
Yes.
He would be a great person
Been
to.
a great resource for many years for us.
Yeah,
and yes,
yeah, I mean,
I referred to him recently.
He is essentially every solar project and electrical
But
project.
also,
Luther.
the lawyer that we have available to us is also So, give me a list of bullet points so I can ask intelligent questions that are directly related to your concerns, and I could come back with answers.
Yeah, so I think, Jim, I really appreciate that option because only one of us, I think, is a lawyer up here. And so we should ask other lawyers our questions. So documenting these, I think, is great. Emily, did you have other questions or things you wanted to propose for this first phase?
I guess I was confused why the EV chargers can't stay.
I think that's an example of a very small detail that feels like it should be workshopped at a small committee level.
No,
'cause
I
had
totally
the
get it.
same
It's just that
reaction.
this was part of the phase in
Yeah.
terms of thinking about the finances. So I guess
If you look at my concept drawing, there's EV spaces, and it's not where they are currently. So my plan was already to move them. Now, my question is, once they're moved, will they work?
I can
Let's
stop.
not
You
go
can go
down
ahead.
that road.
Go ahead.
I mean, I would still maintain some kind of an electrical connection so that it could be done, but I know that there's been issues with the existing infrastructure. And so I would want to make sure going forward, I mean, yes, I will provide the group would provide the wiring and so on to it. No, it's not that big of a deal, and it's not that far. So.
So a couple of other steps I'd love to see in this phase one is I'd suggest we meet with Alliant. I'd love to talk about what community partnership and investment in our downtown could look like. And there's a lot of unknowns between option 1 and 2 without exploring that conversation. I would also love for us to do a brief exploration of grant opportunities. Briefly stopped in to talk to Steph. She's interested in being asked to think creatively with us. I think this is such a unique project because it centers local food, it centers tourism, and it centers arts. And I think that might situate us well. And so we have a great incentive by Jim and Liz putting forward the opportunity of tax credits. I'm wondering if there's another incentive that would help us shape our decision-making timeline.
And we have not approached anyone about that, but know full well that, the Venn diagram of possibilities is pretty significant.
I know that in here, community listening sessions there and talking to Alliant, I think that's terrific. I'm curious, Jim, I know that you've talked to lots of people about this. Have you had a chance to approach the farmers market about their preferences for this? I mean, are they in favor of this? Is there someone from their group that is kind of willing to answer our questions about how we can make sure this serves them? And in particular, my question's informed by our visioning process, which I think is 2018. There was a proposed rendering of a farmers market pavilion, which this would be instead of. And I want to ensure that whatever we do, doesn't just serve, the vision that we create in this room or that you bring to us, but this is where democracy can be messy. I want to make sure that the people who are stakeholders in the farmers market have a chance to weigh in. And the other community partner that I think is really important to get involved in this conversation early is Nordic Fest. I'd like to see if this would complement their vision or not. And I know your role, but I'd actually like to I'd like to hear that officially and ensure that it's not just that they're saying, yeah, this would be better than what we have now, because I don't just want to make better than what we have now. I want to make sure that if we're doing something like this, we make it as good as possible, not just for the arts community, but for Nordic Fest and for the farmers market community too. So those are the two other groups that I really want to see involved super soon.
We have spoken with Kristen Egan, who is now the manager for the farmers market, and we've gone through some of the stages of her concerns. We're also going to be attending their next board meeting to answer questions that they have. And the biggest questions that they have right now that seems to be the only stumbling block that I've seen so far is the existing parking lot is 10-foot spaces, so 10-foot wide. City code says 9 feet. So in order to ensure we had more spaces when we took some of the green space, the spaces that are projected are 9 feet wide, which meets code. And it's standard in in fact, Luther is all 9 foot all over the place. So that was the only thing, because they have 10-foot tents. Well, you know, we can work through that. That's a minor problem. But having power for them, available to them, having cover, you know, of some description for them, having a bathroom for them, those are 3 things that were positives that came out of that. And literally, the concern was, can we get our vehicles underneath there and still be underneath it? Yes, you can. And what about our 10-foot tent? Well, there's 9-foot tents too, and we can work around that one.
Another group that might be important to reach out to and talk with is Decorah Downtown Betterment Association with Lawn Chair Night.
Yes.
I know that was brought up in your presentation as well about that's a spot that they could hold performances.
Yep.
I would just encourage you to talk with them and get their thoughts on the project as well.
We will.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Thoughts? I just, you know, we've talked about the need for a clear set of questions for someone who's versed in modern PPA law, which I think has changed 3 times in the past 3 years, like who can get credits and who can sell things. And, you know, we need to ask a lawyer these questions, but is there a clear goal for us in terms of how the entire funding model for this proposal was, hey, we'll just make power on the roof, that people donate, you know, money to make solar panels, we make power with those solar panels, and we sell it to someone and you know, pay for the ongoing maintenance costs. Well, that's not, you know, gonna work as proposed. So I'm curious, you know, colleagues, like, I think we need to answer the question, you know, what's our tolerance for financial exposure to the city? What's our, you know, like, what's our ask? Like, is our ask of an energy lawyer, is there any way to be able to monetize these solar panels to pay ongoing costs, given that we have this plethora of partners? I feel like that's the question.
Yes, that is exactly what we just said.
I think there's a way to monetize it. We can't do it easily as a nonprofit. I think that's the short answer. I think that there are ways that a group could organize themselves as either a 501(c) or an LLC, and they can, I think, monetize the solar. I guess, so if you're asking, to me, I feel like we can't answer the question until we can get to a lawyer who can say, how do we best operate this in order to monetize the solar?
but Travis's alignment and concept confirmation document says we need to identify a preferred project option, right? And one of the project options is not making nearly as much solar as the initial project proposal called for. Are we saying that we're comfortable with proceeding with that, or do we want to say, hey, we can't really proceed with this unless we're willing to, you know, like, find a way to fully build out the solar and monetize it? Does that question make sense? I mean, maybe I'm way off base, but
Yeah, and so, sorry. Something also to take into consideration along those options is if option 1, which has all the solar still as part of it, there are alternative ways that while we can't sell the electricity, we can charge rent with the land lease. And so one way I could see this potentially advancing is if the LLC has a land lease with the city of Decorah, and, well, this is one way, has a land lease with the city of Decorah and says, here is X dollars per year for the land lease that they have solar canopies on and the solar array on the pavilion that they have as a PPA that they're selling to the school, the co-op, whoever, and they're the same dollar amount, essentially. The other way is we have a land lease with the LLC that says, you know what, for the sum of $1, you can have the land, but the LLC is actually who owns and operates and maintains the pavilion itself. So that way the revenues in from the PPA to the LLC cash flow the operation of the pavilion itself. That's a way the city could ensure that it's revenue neutral, essentially.
I'd also like to make sure that you look at even option 4. If we can't do it, the pavilion is going to put out about $5,500 a year in electrical. electricity. It should maintain itself. It should maintain the green space. And it should maintain outlets for farmers market. But if there was no canopies, no solar, but there's also if you look into the budget for this, it's a complete redo of that, what would be left of the parking lot. And so the city's not doing that. You know, this is our organization saying, we'll redo the parking lot. Well, that would save the city a chunk of money right there if you didn't have to ever worry about that. And as far as maintenance goes, you'll be mowing the lawn. You'll be mowing the lawn instead of moving snow, which is expensive, as we've heard tonight. The big issue will be the cost of maintaining the restrooms, I think. And if we're going to have public restrooms in Decorah, sometime or another, there's going to be an issue of coming up with the money to do that. So if we're going to have one, that'll be there anyway.
So just a quick summary, because I know we're workshop by many smart people. I'm hearing, Steve, to your point, that bullet 1, this preferred option, is unable to be the first step because bullet 2 needs to come first. And so if we could confirm the options of the solar strategy, that would allow us to make a strategic decision about which or none or any of these would be available to move forward. I see that as step 1. I'm also hearing that folks at this table are interested in hearing from some key constituents as step 2. And 3, could there be some amount of, this is just my idea, financing opportunity investigated as well, and that those things may need to happen sooner than later, and maybe even before some of the other things that are slightly more detailed, Travis, that you have here. I also really struggled to read something that was handed to me 1 hour ago, and we've been talking the whole time, so I might be missing something here. If any of that sounds reasonable, my proposal would be that we should find out if there's a majority up here interested in even doing those 3 steps. If there are, I would propose that 2 or 3 council, maybe you want to be involved, Andy, have a small committee, agree to meet with city staff and Jim and Liz a couple of times before we have this discussion again.
I would be happy to be on a committee.
I think that's a good step forward. I mean, in my mind, I like the idea of, if you need to know a direction, right, to go, I like the idea of an LLC operating, us leasing, them operating. But I think that hinges on, can they operate it and sell the power? Because the LLC, I don't want to see the LLC, I don't want to have a nonprofit who's struggling to figure out how to get money. But if they have a solar install that they are then leasing and getting cash in to support it, I think it makes the most sense, personally. So that is essentially knowing the solar stuff. So.
I'm a 40-year resident of Decorah. I won't be here for the next 40. So.
Well, I mean, I think that any LLC, right, you'd have a board and you'd have to, someone would have to.
Yep.
I'd be more than happy to participate. Travis, I do think that you did a good job of pointing out some of our blind spots maybe in some areas that we need to look further into. I don't see anything that's not insurmountable though, and I do think Johanna's right as far as kind of the order of maybe how we should operate here.
Are you comfortable with me then reaching out to Betterment and to grant writing opportunity?
That was kind of my next question is, are we taking the lead on this meeting with Alliant and Betterment? Is this Jim and Liz doing this?
Betterment I can do. Alliant, I'm out of my depth.
I honestly, we need, I think the lawyer, legal counsel, meeting with Jim, Martin Schramm, is going to get you what you need before you go to Alliant. I don't think we're in a position ready to talk to Alliant because there's a certain amount of, we would like this to happen. How can you help us and partner?
If I have bullet points
of
your questions that you want answered, I can take care of that.
Especially if it's an LLC meeting with an Alliant, that's going to be very different than the city meeting with Alliant.
Yeah, and
Very. So, and I just don't think there's I mean.
And I just want to, I actually think about having a larger umbrella goal, a longer term goal of that the city of Decorah and Alliance should have a working relationship. And that conversation could be had, and this could be an example of something we talk about, or we could have points and a need and a direct request. And if that emerges in the next few weeks, then use that strategy.
Right, and I'm not trying to say the city shouldn't have a partnership with Alliant. I'm just saying from my work at the center, I understand that it's a very different relationship with a 501c nonprofit than it is with a for-profit entity when it comes to selling solar.
You could guest lecture in my grad class right now, Emily, about that. I would just add like a friendly amendment to the suggestion. I love the idea, Jim, if you've got folks that have time to coordinate and meet with these other stakeholders. I think when it makes sense, if someone from the city can attend as well, like I think that invitation would be great. Some of the complications could be we funnel everything through you, Jim, and it might be empowering to hear other people's questions and concerns more generally across council. So if schedules allow, that would be my
I can forward it to the entire council, and if you're willing or able, happy to have you.
That'd be great.
I think for ease, it would be good to have an actual appointed council person. I think we have to be cognizant of Travis's time. And to say, Travis, you should go to all these meetings, and Travis, you should do this. And I don't think that Travis has that capacity. And so I do actually think if we could appoint someone from council, if staff is comfortable with that, or
Yep.
if you want to appoint a staff person, but it shouldn't probably be Travis right now.
So
Go ahead, Travis.
Well, I was just going to point out, this is a possible action item that if the council wanted to take action to say you, like whoever that might be, to work as part of a formalized committee, you can do that as an actionable item if you'd like to.
Let's just let Andy make some calls here and
We just draw out of a hat.
not vote it. No. You trust your mayorality on it. There's lots of good council members up here to pick from. But I'm concerned about staff capacity, and I wanted to have that conversation too. I didn't know if that would be best at the end of all of these phase discussions, or maybe it's now. A lot of the timing that's driving this is that July 1 deadline. Is that right? For the IRA credits. Oh, happy birthday, America! No more solar credits. Thanks. I think that's driving a lot of the perceived urgency. I saw Travis come in here and race around distributing this impressive document. And I've seen him do that a lot over the past couple of years. And I think that we've all said to each other up at this dais many times, we need to reduce the sort of unsustainable expectations of staff. And I know that we just said we're going to have a council designee, but I think we all know that council designee is probably going to have to go to Travis with a lot of questions about every single question that comes to him. Well, they're saying this. Can we trench under the road? And then Travis has to talk to John. And I guess what I'm saying is I'm concerned about our staff capacity for this timeline. And I'm curious, Travis, if that July 4th deadline wasn't there, I don't think we'd be on the same timeline, right? We'd probably say, hey, let's talk about this for a while. Let's get the stakeholders in and get some plans on paper. I like having a reason to go fast. I just wonder if this is a push to go too fast. And I'm curious, what do y'all think?
Well, actually, I was thinking, I think it's fine to have a push to go faster, but I think we just have to figure out how to not put it on Travis. We have a committee. I mean, the Sustainability Commission is uniquely educated, armed, and could be ready to take this on with an ask from us, quite honestly. They have the expertise there, minus some legal counsel. But I do think that if there was, Johanna, you're on sustainability, I don't want to put you on it, but I do sort of feel like they have a lot of capacity and knowledge on how to move a lot of these questions forward, or the questions to ask even more than us. So I guess I would like to see a committee formed with a council person, maybe 3 people from sustainability, your folks, and that you guys could put together a proposal in terms of how you think this could be the best self-funded project for the city. I feel like we could take this away from Travis and someone could present just a more detailed line to us.
Emily, when you pointed at Johanna, you pointed 3 fingers back at yourself as well. So maybe you need to join Johanna on the committee. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't mind doing this. Like I said, I just happen to know people on the committee and how well they know this stuff.
Yeah, and Stephen, I think point well taken, right? One, I was not up here and I did not give Travis all this previous work, so I'm sorry. This is my new work that I give you. No. What I think we need is answers to number 1 before we find out if the July 4th date matters. So I'm in for tasking council and staff enough to find out if there's another date that we care about more, or if the July 4th date becomes a non-negotiable, not an option, like the tax credits don't work, then we can all take a breath and step back, right? I don't feel like I know that today. Let's do a step before we decide to miss the opportunity or to miss the opportunity to breathe and do it at a different time frame.
Option 1 is 251,000. Option 4 is about 30,000. Because it takes the solar off the canopies.
Without the maximal credit build out, there isn't the high urgency to make sure we capture the whole $250,000. So, yeah, you're right, Johanna. Let's find out how possible even going with a bigger solar array is, and then we'll have more real numbers to work with. But I got to tell you all, my strong lean right now, and Jim, you might want to cover your ears. I think we would not be making a wise decision to push to try to get through a lot of this by July 4. I think it's asking a lot, and I think it'd be better to do this the slow way that cities often have to do things for good reasons. Make sure that we end up with a project that maybe doesn't qualify for one credit that I didn't choose to cancel, so please don't blame me. I didn't do it. And this came to us pretty recently. This is really fast, and I don't want to push ourselves too hard to capture this particular credit.
But I feel
It is fast, and I sat at this council table when the pavilion was first proposed with Decorah Bank support and community support in the location the John Klein School is. So we've actually been thinking about how to make this happen for years. And that is not just on the city, that is on multiple entities in this community. I just want to push back a little bit on this feeling fast. I think this is an exact example of government moving real darn slow, like 9 years slow.
I think we can, I agree, Steve, it was all on our shoulders. I would agree. I don't think it's all on our shoulders. I think we need to trust community volunteers and organizations who want to see this happen. And if they can come to us with a reasonable proposal with some help from our Sustainability Commission, we should go for it. I think they're just looking for a green light that we like this project, that we want it to go. Obviously, money is going to make a huge deal on what we can do and what can be leveraged, and we don't know that until we can figure out what the solar structure could be and what that revenue input could be. And I think we should give them the go-ahead to figure out what solar structure could look like to generate the revenue to make this site work in that capacity. And if it doesn't, then we can, switch and go a different direction. But
another thing I think that's key to figure out, and I appreciate a lot of the comments regarding staff concern, but I do want to echo Councilmember Zittiger's sentiments. At the end of the day, in all likelihood, I'm probably still going to have to participate, because when it comes down to the operational side of things, that's where, if I'm not there to be able to answer the question, then you are going to have to take additional time to ask me. I'll have to get you that feedback. You'll have to take it back to the committee. That's going to take too long.
right, but they can figure out. Right now, we're sitting here wondering, can an LLC operate and sell the power somewhere else? Can a 501(c) operate and sell the power somewhere else?
Absolutely. I'm agreeing that there's a lot of things that we just need to check. Can this be done? Can this be done? Can this be done? And that absolutely does not need my involvement. But once those boxes get checked, then it gets into, I think the council does have to have the conversation as well of how this project moves forward operationally once the solar options are considered. Like, if option one is on the table, is the council wanting to go towards like an LLC land lease, and then have them own and operate the pavilion.
I love
Or,
that method.
You know, and that's a conversation I do think this council has to have after those boxes are all checked. And that needs to be done before, not just July 4th, but in time to go out and raise money to buy, put down a down payment, 10% of, what was that?
251,000.
Yeah, to raise that kind of money as well,
Well, they have 100.
all by July 4th. And I know you look at a calendar, you're like, oh, that's what, 4 months from now? Well, I will tell you that 4 months will get eaten up really quick.
I have a feeling that if this committee this community committee forms, and they say they can operate an LLC, run the solar, run this, and all they really need the city is to lease the land, I feel like that's a pretty fast move, right?
Another option is for the city to sell that land. You could sell it to the co-op. You could sell that parking lot to the co-op. They put the solar on it, or we help them do it. They own it. It's theirs. It's adjacent. That takes a lot of these questions away. But that's another completely different option that's not been brought to the fore.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of public infrastructure under that section, so even if we do sell it, we'll maintain a whole lot of easements through there, so just throwing that out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of the work that needs to get done, right? What is the co-op? Does the co-op want to own the solar? Because maybe it is that the lease is to the co-op, they own the solar, puts that up, and then these are the questions that need to get asked. I don't think, Travis, you have to be in all of these conversations. I really do think if you're concerned about who can I contact, I feel like we should just say, contact every partner that you know and see how you can help the community can present this to the city as, let's do it this way. Personally.
Yes, and the two that we already have is school and co-op, and those are the two heavy users. It'll be enough solar that it takes a heavy user. Otherwise, it's not really feasible for someone who just needs to turn on the lights.
feel like everyone's saying almost the exact same.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like everyone's saying the same thing, just repeated, and so maybe I'm missing a nuance because we're all jumping in to try to course correct. One of the concerns I have about Travis's time is that you have a lot of ideas. And so you show up at the table, right? And then 7 more people come and we all have a lot of ideas. What I see happening is that a couple of people help Jim get some clear questions to send to legal counsel to know what, if any, of these options exist. If that looks promising, then there's a conversation where, from a city perspective, council, no, you're only gonna have 1 or 2 council members. It's not gonna be decisions, we all know this. Yet there could be some shaping of appetite and understanding city restrictions and what we can do while letting these other community stakeholders get involved, right? That is all work that would take a project from there are 20 ways to move forward to there are 3 ways to move forward. At which point, Travis, you probably have to start coming to the meetings. I suspect there's a budgetary question that comes in before those meetings even start, that comes to this council that has to have decision-making, which comes back to the discussion about what can we afford to take on or not, and is this timeline realistic? I think that's what we're all saying.
Emily, would you be willing to serve as a liaison? Johanna, would you be willing to serve as a liaison?
I am 100%. I have the worst schedule. I mean, I'm 8.
We have the same schedule, so
Right, I'm just-
I'll be hopefully attending as well. So.
Okay, then if it's okay that it doesn't happen before 4 o'clock on a day, that's fine with me. Or on weekends are great.
I'd be happy to help too. I think that there's a vision and an eagerness, and I would like to see it move forward as quickly as it can, and as many boxes checked. Keep moving forward with considerations to time, to staff.
For sure.
But I would like to see it move forward at least and see what we can do, because I think it's a great project.
And you've talked to Jim Martin-Schramm?
Yes.
Okay.
Someone like to make a motion, I guess, to put that forth? Do I need to make a motion to appoint liaisons?
It would be nice to take that action.
I move to authorize Mayor Andy Carlson to appoint council liaisons to work with the Pavilion Community Planning Group.
That'll work.
Second.
Just don't appoint 4 or more.
No.
We've got 3, right?
Motion made by Bergen, seconded by Whittle. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Bergen,
Aye.
Whittle,
Aye.
Misselinich,
Aye.
Zittergruen,
Aye.
Chisel, excuse me, Neal,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you to the
Thanks,
Fritzes as well.
Thanks, Liz.
Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you. Item number 8, consider professional services proposal from ISG for the Decorah Athletic Complex Phase 2. Travis, could you give some background on that, please?
All right, so if having a contract out for Decorah Athletic Complex, just one isn't enough, let's get another one, right? So this is the remainder of about $10 million in capital projects that we're trying to get done this construction season yet. So this proposal from ISG is to design and bid the remainder of what was planned for the Decorah Athletic Complex. That's the remaining ball field, batting cage, lighting of the pickleball courts, and 2 of the fields. We tried to get Skyline to increase their quantities to just cover it as part of their initial contract that's already been awarded. Many of their subs would not hold their numbers, so we're having to rebid, bid to get Field 4 done. We couldn't just change the quantities. In addition to those 2 separate, and I want to be clear, so we will bid them out as 2 separate projects. The lighting, because it's a very specialized electrical bid project. If we try to bid it as one, then the general that builds the field construction and the batting cage and the concrete site prep will add the electrical and just add their upcharge. So 2 separate bid packages. And in addition, Mark and I had several conversations with ISG staff and are recommending moving forward with a prefabricated building for the concessions, storage, and restroom facility, largely because it is the most cost efficient on a square footage basis. If we were to do design bid build on the building, our design costs are substantially higher. So prefab, lower cost, and will result in delivery faster, so we can get the building set on and tied in with utilities. And ISG will help coordinate that, but the actual purchase and plumbing, electrical connections, all that will be outside. It'll be a direct contract with a prefab contractor. So proposals for $106,350.
I'd move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Chisel, seconded by Misselinich. Any further discussion?
Just, Travis, I think you said, I just want to make sure that I understood correctly, it was Mark and you that sort of identified the prefab as the preferred city option, or how much?
Yeah, so ISG came to us actually and said, we really advise you, they're actually direct words where we'd be happy to design you a building, but you probably shouldn't have us design you a building. So they pointed out the design costs of a custom build are going to be substantially higher, and so it's most cost effective for us to just go direct with a prefab. And we did point it out to Park Board as well. Mark did, I don't remember, Park Board didn't take formal action, correct? When we talked about the prefab building.
Take formal action, but the
consensus was overall supportive.
And that was kind of my question, is has Park Board had a chance to weigh in on this? Because it's, it's a significant building at a significant park that we're investing a lot of, and I want to make sure that, I'm happy with it if it comes pretty widely recommended. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just staff sort of saying, hey, we're going to save $80,000 here, let's go forward.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, the exterior finishes, of course, on a prefab building don't have to be just standing rib siding. So, the siding will be appropriate for the site.
How large is the building they're proposing?
Mark, do you remember, was it 60 by 30? I'd have to pull that, I'd have to get that for you, Randy. I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 20 by 60 or 30 by 60.
It's right around 1,000.
So 30 by 60 would be close. Right? No, not even close.
1,800.
30 by 30 would.
Math. Come on, Travis. Sorry.
40 by 20.
Wondering for the
Yeah,
size.
20
40 by
40.
23.
Yeah, 40 by 25. There we go.
I'm just wondering for the size of the park and possible number of people, are we gonna have large bathroom capacities is the big thing, because that does get to be problematic when you get done with the game.
Yep. Yeah.
Or the pickleball folks, when they get done too. I mean, I'm not just picking on baseball, but I want to make sure we have good enough capacity that we don't have issues.
I do know that, even at the Waverly Soccer Complex, they have a big soccer tournament. They also still bring in porta potties.
Porta potties.
I don't
would
think
say
you
for
want to
the big
overbuild
stuff.
a bathroom for 2 events a year. But
It's just like the high school football game. At halftime, there's going to be a line. That's just the reality of it sometimes too. So yeah, I don't think we necessarily need to build out more than
Well, I'm just
need be.
saying we need enough though if you got 4 fields going or even 3 fields, that's a lot of not only kids, coaches, but
Spectators.
moms, dads, spectators, siblings. And then you bring in our public people. If we got 8 pickleball courts, and that's what 32 people there potentially playing at a time. So we just got to make sure we got capacity for normal times, and then for extraordinary times we can bring in the nest pots. So.
We just need a trough to connect to the wastewater treatment plant.
It's just a stone's throw.
We're gonna have a nice prairie behind there, tall grass.
just as long as there's more women's bathrooms.
Mark, do you know off the top of your head how many stalls or the capacity of the bathrooms?
We're waiting on the program information for that, what the options are.
Okay.
So,
It's not a hang-up, it's just
It's a
concern that had
consideration.
been brought up to me by different parents.
Valid.
I'd be happy to send an example of another project that ISG used in a different park setting too.
Okay.
I can certainly pass that along.
I'm trying to think, Andy, do you know off the top of your head what the Booster Club building is over at the school, football field?
Like the capacity?
No, the size of the building, just so I'm
Oof.
just trying to get
It's about 24 by 30.
that one. So, okay, this would be comparable. then.
Comparable to that then, yeah.
Okay, that'd be good.
Feel like that can
Yeah,
facilitate
that would be a good start.
quite a
Okay.
quite a few people. All right. Does anyone want to make a motion? Sorry, we already had the motion. Roll call.
Chisel,
Aye.
Miss Ilinich,
Aye.
Bergen,
Aye.
Zittergruen,
Aye.
Whittle. Oh, sorry, I didn't look up.
I apologize. I apologize for calling roll call.
So he really hates this idea.
I was like, way to be dramatic. Oh.
I'm sorry, that was bad. Is it my
Nope, that was
turn?
good.
We almost talked about bathrooms.
Hi. Hi.
Oh.
Sorry.
Neil,
Hi.
Parker,
Aye.
that should be everyone.
All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, item number 9, discussion and possible action on Decorah 2026 Hively Street Improvement Project debt repayment options.
Okay, so actions possible but not required as part of this, but council had expressed using the possibility of using enterprise funds to repay a portion of the debt for Hadley Street project to cover those costs associated with the respective utility. This item is on the agenda to allow for possible further discussion and a possible action for the council to express their thoughts on repayment without having to express it with a vote on a larger concept of the overall fiscal 27 budget. So this kind of leads into item 9. Item 10. The budget options that are prepared there also include utilizing the water and sewer utility to pay for their associated Hively Street project costs, and then another option of water, sewer, and storm, because storm, it does eat up a considerably larger portion of that utility, and historically that utility hasn't existed for very long, and it doesn't generate a ton of revenue. And stormwater covers also street infrastructure, curb and gutter, intakes, street associated infrastructure. So that's why I did a water and sewer only version as well.
Any discussion?
Just between the options, I would rather that we include the storm. I appreciate being given the options and you spelling out the consequences. Again, I feel like if that threatens to reduce our stormwater budget too much, then maybe we need to look at a rate adjustment to ensure that stormwater fees are commensurate with stormwater spending. And I'd rather not just try to preserve it by tucking that spending into a different part of our budget. So I'd rather see it just come right from the enterprise myself.
I'm really sorry, but I was getting tech support. Can you say that again? From all the enterprise funds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know I wasn't present at the last meeting due to an outside obligation, but that is my thought process as well. Like, I would love to move forward with that.
I'm in. Yep.
Yeah, Emily, okay.
I'm in.
Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to go on the record, Steve, see how well you convinced me.
Yeah, Steve had a pretty compelling argument.
By good debate skills, good debates, or
I've appreciated the chance for discussion for
Yeah.
real, and it's helped me clarify my thinking. And I hope as a city we can also clarify our thinking. Like, this is a good goal to have well-funded enterprise funds that make sure that they pay for themselves, and we can tell the voters that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
I feel like we have consensus on this now. If someone would like to make a motion.
So you need to want to know our debt service levy amount in the motion?
If you want to just have the motion be for the water, sewer, and storm
Okay.
to cover associated costs as presented, that'd be fine.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we consider setting the proposed property tax levy for fiscal year 2027 and include water, sewer, and storm to help cover the costs of.
We're not quite
Never
on that.
mind, I
We're not
read
quite on
two.
that item yet.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yes, maybe I shouldn't make the motion. Project debt repayment option should include water, sewer, and storm.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Neal, seconded by Masilinich. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Neal?
Aye.
Masilinich?
Aye.
Zittergruen?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Whittle?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Bergen?
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Item 10, consider resolution setting public hearing for proposed tax levy for fiscal year 2027 budget.
Well, that unanimous approval of 9 makes 10 that much easier. So with that action, council would be looking at, as well as previous work sessions and everything of the budget as a whole, the city is required to set a property tax levy hearing. This is not to be confused with the actual budget hearing. This is the maximum that the city will say is our property tax levy for fiscal 27. This must be held at a separate and distinct meeting from any other action, has to be the only item on the agenda. As it's drafted, the resolution would set April 6th, 5 p.m. for that property tax levy, which is before our 5:45 start regular meeting. That's allowed, but we have to essentially call the meeting to order. I'm sure everybody will attend and voice their thoughts on the property tax levy. And if not, we sit here for 5 minutes and stare at each other until the mayor closes the hearing, and then we wait until the next meeting.
Can we do 5:15, or we need it to be at 5?
It can be 5:15. That's fine. I mean,
Well, I just, it's a long time to sit here. Sorry, it's just 45 minutes.
well, it gives everyone a chance to go to the bathroom and.
Thank you.
45 minutes. Maybe this year will be different.
So.
We have a motion, then we need to decide on the employee benefits part.
Correct. So as the work session at the last meeting, that conversation seemed to be on board with the reduction of the employee benefits levy. And one of the things I recommended was the $259,700 reduction. That would allow us to get that levy back to where it needed to be. It would allow for a more gradual recovery of that. So with the water, sewer, and storm utility in the Hively Street debt repayment, that's reducing the tax dollars we're requesting by about $110,000. That would result in a total levy of $15.52157. And that's what we would set the property tax levy hearing notice at.
And that's on page 113 of the council packet.
Thank you.
So just to make sure that I'm following Travis, and maybe all of us are following, we already talked about the enterprise utilities, and then the employee benefits levy would be at 317, which spends down the employee benefits fund by about 270,000. Is that the number that we talked about last time?
Yeah, it would reduce.
I thought it was 259,000.
259.
Okay.
Yeah, 259.
And I checked with Carrie just to make sure the current balance is at $1 million. So like Carrie said, you can certainly say it if you want to, but you said that you felt pretty comfortable spending that fund balance down to keep the levy a bit lower at that rate.
Yeah,
or?
we have a pretty, that fund balance is very healthy, so I feel totally comfortable with that being spent down, and I don't see it hurting us at all.
Yeah, Travis, do you happen? I asked Carrie, and she said she feels like it's pretty healthy fund balance. But do other cities keep 4 years worth, or like a fairly significant fund balance in this line item, or?
Yeah, so that'd be 4 years of us being able to
buy it down this much.
Buy it down for 4 years. It's not 4 years of operation, but the insurance levy, employee benefits levy is one that cities do typically try and keep padded for the most flexibility. So in years that you have maybe a big insurance rate spike, you can ride that pretty steady by just eating at your existing fund balance. Conversely, one of the reasons our fund balance has grown a little bit over the years is the city's participation in MFPRSI, that's Municipal Fire and Police Retirement System. That, I'm not going to get into the greater details of it, but that rate for the employer contribution was in the 30% not that long ago, and it has come down steadily over the years to, are we under 20 now? I think we're under 20%. So that's allowed us to build that balance back up a bit. Again, I did not recommend the 500,000. That's too big of a hit. That wouldn't have left us enough time to get back to where we need to be.
And so how does 15? Sorry, what was the number we came up with? 15.52. How does that compare to last year's all-in levy rate?
16.
Yeah, it's quite a bit lower.
Yeah.
I actually knew the answer. I just wanted everyone else to hear that we're taking the levy down quite a bit.
Well, you don't ask questions you don't know the answers to, right?
I'd make a motion that we set a public hearing for a proposed property tax levy at 1552, utilizing $259,700 from the special revenues levy, and then counting on the 3 utilities to help buy down the debt service to the Hively Street.
Second.
Motion by Neal, seconded by Masilinich. Any further discussion?
I just want to say, I think it's a credit to not just Travis and Carrie, as we mentioned earlier, to manage our city, to put us in a position to get great bond ratings and be in a position to reduce our levy, in spite of all the spending pressures the city's under, but also to the staff, the department heads, and the people who realize that when they're spending money, they're spending taxpayer dollars, and we try to spend it where there's return. So I just want to say thanks to the staff of this community for being good stewards of the community's financial resources, the way that we choose to spend money together here. And to my colleagues on council, I think, we've got a good record here of holding the levy pretty strong. And I think that represents some sound leadership as well. It's not all on the staff. I think they work with a good group of people, and we're all lucky to do it. So thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Any other comments? Roll call.
Neal?
Aye.
Masilinich?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Whittle?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Bergen?
Aye.
Zittergren?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And in the article, just remember, we don't control assessments. We have lowered the levy considerably.
And
We
your
are-
assessed value does not equal your taxable value.
Yes, your assessed
Come
value.
to the public hearing, you'll hear all
So
about it.
please, if you have questions, come to the public hearing, but know that the city has just done their due diligence to lower your property tax rate considerably.
I think you need a YouTube channel.
Or Substack.
Yeah, there we go. Substack.
Steve's got a great Substack.
All right, number 11, consider ordinance amending Title 17 zoning of the Decorah Municipal Code, sections 17-68 040, 17.72.040, and 17.76.040 regarding residential bulk regulations, second reading.
All right, so again, this is all 3 residential zoning classifications, reducing the setbacks, front and rear yard setbacks, front yard to 10 feet, rear down to 5. It leaves the sides at 8 feet. 5 was selected as the rear setback because it's the same as the accessory building setback requirement. And largely, we looked at making this change as a result of state legislation that required ADUs to adhere to the same zoning requirements as a principal structure, which made building a detached ADU nearly impossible because you had to build it in the same spot your house sat. So this gives greater flexibility to the principal structure as well as the potential to build an ADU. In addition to making those changes, it also adds to try and retain the character of the individual zoning classifications, limits to the lot coverage, 40% for R1, 50% for R2, and 75% for R3. Those percentages include principal structure and an ADU if built, but any accessory building as well. Those percentages were calculated using a 2,000 square foot ranch style home, an accessory building of 1,000 square foot, and an ADU of 1,000, and comparing that to the minimum lot square footage required.
I move to approve ordinance amending Code Chapter 1512.
Second.
Have we had any feedback?
No.
Okay.
Who got in there second?
Christopher did.
Christopher did? Okay. All right, motion by Bergen, seconded by Masilinich. Roll call. Sorry, any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Bergen?
Aye.
Masilinich?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Zittergren?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Whittle?
Aye.
I would move to waive
Wait.
the third reading and adopt.
Second.
Okay, motion to waive and adopt third reading by Chisel, seconded by Bergen. Roll call.
Chisel?
Aye.
Bergen?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Masilinich?
Aye.
Zittergren?
Aye.
Whittle?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
All right, motion's approved unanimously. Moving on to item 12, consider ordinance amending Decorah Municipal Code Chapter 15.12, building code to provide for adoption of state of Iowa standards and rules related to buildings, second reading.
I'd move to amend.
Second.
Okay, motion by Chisel, second by Zittergruen. Any further discussion?
Thanks for everyone's work in cleaning up process around commissions. I appreciate it. Commissions.
That's 13, I think.
Yeah, we're on building code.
Oh, I'm not there.
It's all
Where
good.
am I?
It's all good.
Building code.
Oh, I'm just cranky about the building code. Never mind.
That's why when you said thank you, it was like,
no
I
comment.
didn't expect that.
I retract. There's no thanks here.
All right.
Except for Greg for reading it all.
We
Thanks,
could do
Greg.
better, but it's not anyone here's fault.
I know, I'm tired. I'm really actually cranky about it because I just look at this as state overreach. I'm tired
Travis,
of
did we
state
get any?
overreach.
Sorry, Emily. Go ahead.
No, I'm just tired of state overreach. Let us determine our own building codes.
Travis, is there any further feedback with regards to this one? Okay. Okay, motion by Chisel, second by Zittergruen. Roll call.
Chisel.
Aye.
Zittergruen.
Aye.
Misselinich.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Whittle.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye. I'd move to waive the third and adopt.
Since we have no choice.
Last motion passed unanimously. Motion to waive and adopt. Third reading by Chisel. Did they get a second there?
I did.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Motion by Chisel, second by Zittergruen. Roll call.
Chisel.
Aye.
Zittergruen.
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Whittle.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Misselinich.
Aye.
It is not lost on me that when I came on council, there were no building codes. I just wanted, and we adopted building codes
Right.
because there were no building codes.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the state got on board and said, oh, no, now you're going to, I mean, there were building codes. I know you're giving me a weird look, but it wasn't like,
I was gonna say, I might clarify, there were building codes, just Decorah didn't have them adopted, and we didn't have anybody to inspect. And the reason I point that out is because we do hear a lot of times, well, I could build this out in the county and be cheaper. Well, no, because you need to abide by the same building codes, you just don't have anybody in the county to inspect, so.
All right, moving on. Item 13, consider ordinance amending Decorah Municipal Code 12.40.200 regarding establishment of the tree board, first reading.
I have some questions about this one.
Travis, would you like to give a little background?
Sure. So the Decorah Tree Boards, it has been a working group responsible for many of the tree plantings within the right-of-way. With the city forester position being reduced to a very part-time role, the board is looking to perform additional duties for tree maintenance within the right-of-way. Tree Board is currently 7 members. Proposed ordinance would increase that number of appointments to 9 with 3-year staggered terms. If approved, we do have 2 separate applications on file from interested individuals. Additionally, the proposed, I do want to also add to this, the tree board did consider this at their last meeting, did recommend approval. But one of the things they also pointed out is when they do tree plantings or different work within the right-of-way, they have to be cognizant of how many tree board members they have working on a tree in the right-of-way. And so if we increase it to 9, then they could actually have 4 people planting a tree and not be in violation of an open meetings law. So that was something that was also afforded at that meeting, which is true. Additionally, the proposed ordinance does clarify that these are mayoral appointments with council confirmation. Currently, the code just says the council shall establish a tree board. Also added are that the tree board will elect a chair and a vice chair annually, similar to other boards and commissions, and designates the city forester as the secretary.
My only comment, but actually you saying that about them planting trees, do you feel like with this board filling 9 spots we'll be able to do? That's my only, and so then would we leave them in the same predicament that HRC was, never being able to have a quorum?
Mm-hmm. So, is it possible? Yes. You know, we've had pretty strong participation by tree board members in recent history. I can say that in my tenure at least. And this group is looking to take on more physical duties, and that's why increasing the number of board positions was also to try and help spread that work out as well. Not to say you have to be a board or commission member to volunteer with them, but knowing that we had 2 applications on file, one of which was a prior tree board member as well. So anyway, that was one of their considerations, was the additional work that they're looking to take on, and it does help them avoid an open meetings law violation.
Could we write in code 7 to 9 member, in case we ever did struggle, that we could, like, let's say that we went through a dry period. I feel like we had this discussion when we were talking about sustainability.
Yeah, if the council wanted, just quick sidebar, confirming with John that in code you could say 7 to 9 members, 7 or 9. I would always do odd, 7
Sure.
or 9 members as set by resolution of the council, because in there we do have that the uneven terms, if it's less than 3 years, would be set by resolution as well.
I mean, my only concern with 9 is, yes, I think the tree board is one of probably the easiest to get people for commission, but I just know we've struggled a lot, and so I would hate to see them not
A
be.
recent uptick lately.
Yeah.
It's a great board to work with. John Travis, just anticipating possible problems with Emily's plan, would we have to redefine a quorum in the same ordinance?
I think that.
I think you could do it by the resolution. So if you're only going to appoint 7, say the board shall only consist of 7 members. I think you're gonna, to your point, I think there's gotta be some formal action to set, is it now 7 or is it 9?
Right, so what I was suggesting, in the ordinance, we put 7 or 9, we go to 9 right now. And let's just see how 9 works, but we don't have to then redo the ordinance if we need to go down to 7. I'm not wed to it if people don't agree. I just don't want to be stuck in the boat of, we need tree board members.
I agree with what you're saying, and I guess that just triggered something in my mind, because, okay, we are on 9, but you've said 7, so, like, can we change the verbiage that says 7 to 9 members? Like, you have a range.
No, because
You
we don't
need
want
to
8.
have an odd. You couldn't have 8.
So we want 7 or 9.
Right. You don't want to have 8.
You don't want to have 8.
Oh, that's fair.
I like 9, but I'll vote for either.
Yeah, I'm fine with either way forward. We can always change the ordinance if we have trouble filling a 9-member board, is the other option. It's not impossible to change ordinances. We do it all the time, so. Emily, if you want to make the motion with a 7 or 9, you sure can, though.
I've sat on a few different ones around in the county. Sustainability, I even sat on the tree board. That's by far the funnest one I was on. I have no doubt that they're going to be able to fill the 9.
Okay, then we can stay with 9. I just wanted to raise that because I do think it's the funnest commission. I think if you want to get involved in the city, get on the tree board. It's a way to go. It was more of,
Sorry.
Need an ordinance, Mayor? Or a movement?
I do need a motion.
Sorry.
Someone would like
Yeah.
to make one.
I move the ordinance amending Title 17. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm way off again. I pulled an Emily there. I move the ordinance amending Municipal Code Section 1240, 200. It's catching tonight, sorry.
It's all good.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Zittiger, seconded by Bergen. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Zittergruen?
Aye.
Bergen?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Whittle?
Aye.
Neal?
aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Miscellaneous?
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Consider mayoral appointment to Elizabeth Happ to the Decorah Planning and Zoning Commission. Term expires 1/7/29. Any discussion?
So just as a reminder, this is the remainder of Councilmember Bergen's term, when she became council member and now allowed to serve on planning and zoning. So this is serving the remainder of that appointment.
I move to appoint Elizabeth Happ to the Decorah Planning and Zoning Commission. Term expires January 7th of 2029.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Whittle, seconded by Neal. Further discussion? Roll call.
Whittle,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Zittergren,
Aye.
Chisel,
No.
Parker,
Aye.
Misselinich,
Aye.
Bergen.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1.
That means we can't be on the tree board either, can we?
All right, item 15, 90% plan review of Decorah 2026 chip seal project. Travis, a little background?
Yeah, so this, it's, in recent history, the council's always held like a 90% plan review before we do set a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract. So we would take conversation around this project that's proposed. It was included in the budget for fiscal '27. Take comments on it and make those changes before coming back to council on, at the next meeting potentially, and set that public hearing. So this is proposed chip seal project. It's another Minnesota DOT standard chip seal project, similar to the one last year on Mechanic Street. So it uses a crushed granite base instead of the limestone. This project, again, included in '27 budget, but would be for Nordic Drive, Stanwood Drive, and Highland Drive west of Locust Road.
Any discussion?
Yeah, John, how is this held up with the plowing that we've done this winter? Is it held up better than the limestone?
Well, I don't have a lot of reference.
John, can
Can
you
use a
grab the
mic.
remote from Chopper? Is it back there? Thank you.
Now I know you guys had no intention of sharing tonight.
Chopper was hiding the mic.
I would say that the Minnesota chip seal is held up excellent. It's one of the things that we look for is chip pop off in the gutters, and I don't see a whole lot. I didn't see a lot of that beforehand, and I'm not seeing scuff marks from the plows and so on like that. So I'm impressed with what has been done thus far.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I just want to make sure I'm reading the documents correctly. Total project cost here is, it's like 14,000 or 15,000. Is that what I'm seeing, or is it, I'm way off? That's what I was thinking. I'm looking at page, well, the wrong page. I'm looking at the cost estimate on Decorah Street. It says like one at, yeah, I'm sorry. There's 6,000 for Nordic Drive, 5,000 for Highland Drive. Maybe that's linear feet, or I guess, what's the total cost here, John?
I've got in my cost engineer's opinion of cost is $104,000.
Okay, 104. All right, thanks. I guess I was looking at some other measurement on the second page of the plan set.
That's a quantity.
Yeah, it must be quantity. Okay, all right. I'd seen that and it seemed low, and I was like, why are we talking about this again? All right. Good. All right. Well, okay. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Have a motion?
I guess the one thing I would say is that the rubber band is Stanwood, but what I'd like to do is make sure that we do Stanwood in addition to Highland and Nordic. So if we have an adjustment, it would we would be looking at it with the asphalt street project that will be coming in about a month. We'll still fit in within budget there, but I would rather not leave a section of the asphalt that's basically the same age. It's not quite. It's the Stanwood's a little bit younger, but I would like to, if as long as they're up there doing the work, get that done all at the same time, and then we would be our rubber band then would be affixed to the asphalt street project, which I think we have the capacity to do. And the cost of the Stanwood is about. I don't have a good way of being able to split that cost out right now. But as you can see on the cover sheet of that, it's a very small portion of the overall project.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Could someone tell me what page of the council packet John's letter was on? I'm not finding it. I didn't see it in prep for the meeting, and I'm just curious if it's in there.
I'm not seeing a bid letter either.
No, there's
Well,
not.
Okay.
Engineer's estimate, sorry, there's,
I would say I do not have a separate estimate as prepared for it, just that these all were part of the fiscal 27 street project. I did not call out specifically the dollar amount.
Oh, okay, good. So I shouldn't
No,
have known
you didn't
that.
miss anything.
Thank
You didn't
God.
miss
All right,
anything.
thanks. Just put that in the newspaper.
Yep,
too.
be clear.
What do you need? We don't make a motion on
No,
this.
this
It's just
is,
okay.
this is a
just
feedback time. This
Okay.
is just, if you don't have any issues with it, we're bringing it back to the next meeting to set a public hearing.
I appreciate the work. Thanks. And I'm sure that the residents up there are really going to appreciate it too. In the future, let's not build 26-foot wide roads and narrowly served residential cul-de-sacs, because this could be a cheaper project if we were smarter when we built these roads.
Fair point. All right, moving on. Any other comments? Okay, moving on to item number 16, Board and Commission vacancies, Sustainability Commission and SMID Commission. I don't know if we need any background on those. I do know that for SMID, you do not have to necessarily be the tenant. You can be the tenant or the owner of the building, correct?
Correct. Building
Okay.
owner or their designee. So as long as the building owner says, hey, if you got a bad relationship with your building owner, probably not.
Is the Sustainability Commission ants?
Correct.
All right.
If it helps, I do think that social sustainability piece filled quite a role in that committee, within the Sustainability Committee. So people interested in that part of the work, encouraged to apply.
I have another matter.
All right. Number 17, other matters. Does anyone have any other thing they'd like to bring up? I just like to, earlier I should have brought this up, but the Pebble vote is tomorrow for our physical plant and equipment levy. Voting yes will not increase your taxes, just so you're aware. We have voted for it 10 years ago. Anyone else want to share? Sorry.
I was just enthused to see that the Human Rights Commission's having a good organizing meeting tomorrow, so I'm glad that's moving along.
I would like to let you all know that I'm super excited to celebrate National Bike Week in May. And I've had a secret dream of having a city council mayor bike ride. So if anyone's interested, you should let me know. And specifically, Luther College is supporting and organizing a pretty significant bike event, and they are interested to know if the city is interested in supporting, either just being like an entity that represents them. I'd also like to be able to say, yeah, some of us want to come and do some things. So I'll send an email around that you should respond back to me individually about. And if a couple of folks are interested in supporting that.
If we're going to ride bikes in May, we should have a float in Nordic Fest.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Travis, does that
parade 4
constitute a
times last year.
quorum if we're riding our bikes together?
Well, just let me know how many you end up with, and then we'll have to make sure you're at least.
You'll have to volunteer at different parts of the Trout Run Trail. We can figure it out.
But I just wanted to, one last thing, and this is really a big media thing, so if you take nothing away from this meeting, if you would please, the telecommunications. So the telecommunications utility, they have a meeting tomorrow where they're set to consider some logos and stuff. It's really ramping up, and the spring is coming. It's coming faster than we thought. Every resident will eventually receive a letter, but residents of the flats, as well as I think they're going to move immediately into the downtown district and kind of rotate in like a clockwise direction. But everybody's eventually going to receive a letter that says, we want to do a home inspection to be able to wire your home and get you ready for fiber to your home. please respond to that letter and set up a time for the home inspection. It will make sure that when you sign up for municipal fiber, that it can be done relatively quickly. So that is an official letter that will be coming out soon.
I just want to, I have to just make up, well, we could close the meeting, but tomorrow, Decorah's getting 2 new residents.
Letters cut out.
Are your parents coming to town?
Yes. So, 2 new residents in Decorah tomorrow.
Sweet.
Happy Engineers Week.
We'll have Andy sign something.
Does anyone else have anything to share? All right.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Randy.